what's going on the planet right now. There's a number of things that we hear about a lot, a number of things that we don't hear about at all. If you look at all of these events in an isolated way, then all you can see is a downward spiral with no hope. And if you would do that, then we can see how many people are not just panicking, but saying, how much longer? I can't go much longer anymore. My family's threatened, my freedom is threatened, my job is threatened, my way of living and thinking is threatened. And those are just the things we hear about. Of course, they're at the moment. And over the course of this summer, we have seen a never before intensity of natural events, whether they were somehow manipulated, of course we can't tell, of volcano eruptions, floods, storms, fires, earthquakes, you name it, anything that's possible, you name it, in such an intensity that the media wasn't even willing or didn't want to even pick up on that, how intense that's been all across the planet. So, in other words, the world is in complete turmoil. We're literally in the storm. And if we don't take a step back and remind ourselves what this phase in our experience means and what it is, then we will fall for this fear and this destruction scenario. And we have to go and look at it from a bird's eye view and remind ourselves that for decades and decades, a very, very strong and large movement, many groups, many people, many individuals have been working on a shift. That shift began with consciousness and is still beginning for people with consciousness. The consciousness and the awareness that what has been going on in the world is not what you could call authentic or real. It's been a play that's been going on, but it was forced on the people of the world in many ways for a very long time. We call this the Matrix. It's literally an artificial reality. And these systems that we see in the world today that are now crumbling down, and it isn't because of what it seems to be, that's so important. These systems were never what they pretended to be in the first place. And that's for all the people who want to hold on to what we had, who want to hold on to the old ways, who want to hold on to that reality and say, I just want what I had 20, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago in my childhood. I just want to see the world how it was. The world was, in essence, in the structures, exactly what we see today. It was just hidden. It was just behind closed doors. It was just quiet. It's like all the dust and all the dirt underneath the rug. That's what the world was. Now what we're seeing is, because of what we wanted for such a long time, truth, freedom, authenticity, healing, because we wanted to change, because we knew this wasn't going to work anymore for humanity, this state was not bearable anymore. And it wasn't what we were always meant to be anyway. So what we're seeing now, the events that are unfolding, and this big event that's constantly unfolding, that's everywhere, that causes lives to be unraveled, that changes the whole dynamics of what our society was, and how all of a sudden all the truths, they would literally pound this into our heads. You know, you get up and you go to work every day and you go to school every day, and there's, you know, you can't even take a sick day. All of these truths are not valid anymore. We've completely thrown them out, and now there's this new truth that there's a constant extreme danger. In the 1940s, at the end of World War II, there was a clear situation already. It was very clear in the eyes of the world how the war would end. The winner was clear and the loser was clear. Yet the loser of that war did not give in. As a matter of fact, at that point, the loser was willing to sacrifice even the last bits and to send the youngest of the young boys into a battle that was unwinnable. That's what happened at the end of the World War. And we're in a similar situation, and we need to understand we're at war. We're literally at war. It's a spiritual war and on the top, but it plays out as a very now physical reality here. And only if you are scared of what might happen or scared of consequences, you will continue to endure the things that are unfolding now. If you, however, realize that there is no clinging to something that isn't here anymore, because this old reality, the old reality we had in 2019, 2018 is not here anymore, and it's never coming back. The world we had 2 to 3 years ago is never coming back. And this comes from someone who thinks that the greatest pile of bullshit and crap is what they call the Great Reset. It's just a projection of a, psychopath's wet dream. That's complete insanity. But nonetheless, no matter where you stand on this, the world's never going back to what it was just 2 years ago, or a year ago, or 3 years ago. And we should embrace that fact. Because compared to today, there might have been more order, seemingly. But all that it was more dust under the rug. We're now lifting the rug and we're seeing it for what it is. And how does healing work? First of all, in order for healing to begin, there needs to be an awareness that there's something wrong. And for the longest time, large sections of the population did not want to admit that there was something wrong. They knew it deep inside, most of them. They knew it because they felt the suffering of their own soul.